Second local radio host confirms pre-approved questions for Biden interview. In a recent revelation, a second local radio host has confirmed receiving pre-approved questions for an interview with President Joe Biden. Earl Ingram of CivicMedia, a prominent Wisconsin radio host, told ABC News on Saturday that he was provided with a list of questions ahead of his interview with Biden earlier this week, following the president's debate performance. "Yes, I was given some questions for Biden," Ingram said. He noted that he received 5 questions in total and ended up asking 4 of them. "I didn't get a chance to ask him all the things I wanted to ask," he added. Ingram is the second interviewer to report this practice. Earlier in the day, Andrea Lawful-Sanders, host of Words the Source, informed CNN that Biden officials provided her with a list of 8 questions prior to her interview with the president. "We do not condition interviews on acceptance of these questions, and hosts are always free to ask the questions they think will best inform their listeners," the Biden campaign stated to ABC News on Saturday. Ingram expressed understanding and appreciation for the opportunity to interview the president, despite the pre-approved questions. "To think that I was going to get an opportunity to ask any question to the President of the United States, I think, is a bit more than anybody should expect," he remarked. He emphasized his gratitude for the chance to conduct the interview at all. On CNN, Lawful-Sanders elaborated that the questions were sent to her for approval, and she agreed to them. "I got several questions, 8 of them," she explained. "And the 4 that were chosen were the ones that I approved." Biden campaign spokesperson Lauren Hick responded by noting that it is not unusual for interviewees to share preferred topics. She clarified that Lawful-Sanders was free to ask any questions she deemed fit and that the questions came from the campaign, not the White House, as some reports suggested. "It's not at all an uncommon practice for interviewees to share topics they would prefer." These questions were relevant to news of the day. The president was asked about this debate performance as well as what he'd delivered for Black Americans, Hitt stated. "We do not condition interviews on acceptance of these questions, and hosts are always free to ask the questions they think will best inform their listeners." In addition to these interviews, the president also participated in a press gaggle yesterday as well as an interview with ABC. Americans have had several opportunities to see him unscripted since the debate. Ingram and Lawful-Sanders' disclosures shed light on a common media practice, highlighting the balance between structured interviews and the interviewer's autonomy. President Joe Biden attributed his underwhelming performance in last week's debate to having a bad night, dismissing it as a sign of any serious condition. "I have medical doctors traveling everywhere. Every president does, as you know. Medical doctors from the best of the world travel with me everywhere I go," Biden told ABC News' George Stephanopoulos. "I have an ongoing assessment of what I'm doing. They don't hesitate to tell me if they think there's something else wrong." Biden said he consulted his doctor after the debate and was told he was simply exhausted. He mentioned that being president involves extensive medical oversight, including daily neurological assessments. However, doctors specializing in aging suggest that no single test can definitively determine mental fitness. Comprehensive evaluations are more insightful, encompassing questionnaires, physical exams, blood tests, brain imaging, and interviews with the individual and their close contacts. CNN chief medical correspondent Dr. Sanjay Gupta recommended that Biden undergo detailed cognitive and neurological tests and make the results public. Such testing can clarify whether symptoms have benign explanations or point to more concerning issues. When asked if he had undergone cognitive tests and an examination by a neurologist, Biden said no. "No one said I had to. They said I'm good," he stated, without indicating any plans for such tests in response to his debate performance. #### effects of typical aging. Normal aging can lead to cognitive changes, but their onset and extent vary among individuals. Studies indicate that cognitive decline can begin around age 27, even in healthy and well-educated people. Aging can make reasoning, problem-solving, and maintaining conversational threads more challenging, though not necessarily impairing normal functioning. Not everything declines as you get older, and not everything declines at an equal rate, noted Dr. Charan Ranganath, a psychology and neuroscience professor at the University of California, Davis. For example, the ability to remember facts, crucial for a president, remains intact, though retrieval may be slower. Dr. John Rowe, a professor of health policy and aging at Columbia University, added that reasoning, sociability, attention, orientation, emotional stability, and judgment are all affected by aging to varying degrees. Some aspects, such as vocabulary, may even improve. Cognitive impairment, distinct from normal aging, affects memory and mental abilities to a degree that disrupts daily life, occurring in 12% to 18% of people over 65, with prevalence increasing with age. By 80, over 25% may experience mild cognitive impairment, which can progress to dementia in some cases. People often adapt by using strategies like consistent key placement or keeping appointment logs. ## screening for cognitive impairment. Primary care physicians may use the Mini Mental State Exam, MMSE, or the Montreal Cognitive Assessment, MoCA, to screen for cognitive impairment. The MMSE is a brief test assessing orientation, registration, attention and calculation, recall, and language. The MoCA, slightly longer, evaluates concentration, executive function, memory, language, conceptual thinking, orientation, calculations, and spatial information manipulation. Dr. Ranganath described the MMSE as a blunt instrument and noted the MoCA's effectiveness in detecting mild cognitive impairment, often prompting further medical consultation. ## more detailed cognitive tests. For suspected serious cognitive problems, referrals to specialists for in-depth testing are common. Behavioral neurologists, neuropsychologists, and social workers may conduct evaluations spanning 1 or 2 days, considering overall health, cognitive abilities, and neurological conditions. Blood tests, brain imaging, and physical exams can also aid in diagnosis. Evaluations include reports from close contacts, assessing whether cognitive changes interfere with daily activities. ## when to get tested. Dr. Brad Dickerson of Harvard Medical School advised that the decision to undergo testing depends on individual circumstances. Minor forgetfulness, like not recalling an actor's name, may not warrant immediate concern, but establishing a cognitive and neurological baseline is beneficial. Dr. Rowe emphasized the value of baseline testing for early detection of potential issues, recommending it for roles like presidential candidates, Supreme Court justices, and airline pilots. He noted that while test scores shouldn't be overemphasized, failure indicates the need for public awareness. Cognitive impairment isn't always due to dementia. Addressing other health problems or lifestyle changes can improve symptoms. However, distinguishing between typical age-related decline and cognitive impairment requires expertise and sometimes remains ambiguous even with thorough testing. There is also a bit of an art in figuring out how to translate someone's test results into a statement about real-world functioning, Ranganath explained. While recommendations are often clear, predicting future competency can be challenging.